Located inside Fort Smith's historic downtown area along the Arkansas River is Miss Laura's Social Club. It's the only row house of 7 that once lined Old Fort Smith's red light district. Miss Laura's is the last one standing. It's the only former bordello on the National Register of Historic Places. Last year when I was in Fort Smith, I stopped by Miss Laura's. Sadly, it was closed. I was thrilled on my most recent visit. Miss Laura's was open for business. I had a lovely tour guide named Faye who was very knowledgeable about the history. Currently, the Fort Smith Visitor Center calls the location home, along with the museum paying homage to the past of Miss Laura's Social Club. The Visitor Center will be moving to another site in the near future, and the home will remain as a museum. The space has been fully restored to its original splendor. The house at 123 First Street was built in 1896 as the Riverfront Commercial Hotel. Laura Ziegler bought the structure in 1898, borrowing $3,000 from a banker to purchase the building. She renovated the building and opened it as a brothel in 1903. Laura repaid her bank loan in a mere 17 months. Miss Laura's Social Club was one of the most celebrated bordellos in the Southwest. Gentlemen had to be sponsored, if you will, or invited to partake in the festivities. Miss Laura's ladies were well taken care of. They were known as the healthiest and most sophisticated in Fort Smith. The city of Fort Smith taxed the women $5, and the ladies had to post their certificates visibly in their rooms. The success of the business began to teeter in 1910 as more and more people in Fort Smith wanted to do away with the red light district. 2 houses in the district burned to the ground and others were damaged when an oil storage tanker exploded on January 7, 1910, sending the women and their customers running into the street. This was known as the Night of the Lingerie Party. Ziegler realized the business was going to take a turn for the worse, so she decided to sell the house in 1911 to Bertha Gale Dean, known as Big Bertha, who purchased the property for $47,000. Little is known of Ziegler after that, but it is speculated that Miss Laura bought land and moved away. There are no known pictures of Miss Laura in the house, but this is what I imagined she would have looked like. The area by the river soon deteriorated into a sanctuary for drifters and vagrants. Despite the decline in the area, the house remained a brothel until Big Bertha's death in 1948. Bertha left the home to Jules Bartholomew, a man who lived in the house at the time and with whom Dean was rumored to have had a relationship. The building sat vacant and abandoned for many years, falling in disrepair. In 1963, the city of Fort Smith announced that unless a buyer was found, the house would meet its fate at the end of a wrecking ball. Donald Reynolds, founder of the Donray Media Group, bought the house and saved it from demolition. Restoration began in 1983. A year later, Miss Laura's Social Club and Restaurant opened its doors. The fine dining establishment operated for approximately 5 years. I found this recipe online that sounds amazing for Arkansas mud pie that was served at Miss Laura's. Miss Laura's reopened as the Visitor Center in the fall of 1992. The interior is decorated as it would have been during Ziegler's time, with furniture and wallpaper of the period. Each guest room has a transom bearing a lady's name. A few original articles remain, including stained glass window. There's no doubt it was a different time back then, and women had very little options to support themselves. Many women that worked at Miss Laura's worked under false names, so there's no accurate record of the ladies that provided social services here. The home had modern conveniences such as electricity, but they still used a chamber pot. Fun fact, when it was a restaurant, one of the investors was actor Robert Duvall, and this is the Duvall Room, named after him. I loved him in Lonesome Dove, and Lonesome Dove was one of my favorite books growing up. This is a little tribute to Miss Laura as she kept her alcohol in the bathtub to keep it chilled. Fort Smith was a boisterous border town. Stop in to see and hear a piece of Fort Smith's colorful past. I hope you enjoyed this look into Miss Laura's social club. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been here. Until next time, bye for now.